Hello. Um, so it's been how long since I last? Oh God, I forgot how long it's been since I last streamed. Like what, 3 weeks? I at least want to say close to 3 weeks, if not like 2.5. But I'm still going through a lot of shit, mainly at my horrible job. I gotta stop being fucking demotivated about everything and leave there. It's genuinely not good for me, and it's literally getting in the way of everything I want to do, even though, it's giving me money and that's the only reason I'm still there. I'm gonna at least attempt to ask for a raise while I'm still there before I can find a better job. Also, hey, Spiral. Just kind of been in the cycle of pain past couple months. Just let me just hop back into it because I do remember where we left off. Yeah, Spar, this job's been putting me through the fucking ringer, and honest to God, the only reason I haven't left is because, again, left kinda broke after Christmas and New Year's, and then having to pay for a new health insurance plan, which it turns out I don't need currently because since the pandemic's still going on, I still got Medicaid, but even then I was told to keep the plan up, and well, yeah, it's like $35. That's on top of like the $40 phone plan, and then half the internet and TV bill, and then groceries, and that adds up for me very quickly. And it doesn't help that KOF 15 and Dust Diver 2 are in February, so yeah, I gotta definitely tighten up on spending, because I'm also planning on getting like a mini PC that's apparently just built stronger than this laptop I'm using, which not really a shock to me considering I've been hearing how good mini PCs are, or at least some of them. But yeah, I have a lot of more expensive plans this year, and if I need to do those, I need to go back to when I was like actively saving, because the last time I was actively saving was like the month before, August. Then every month after that, I just I didn't start splurging until like November, like late October, early November, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But and last time I left off with Umineko was 3 months ago, and I remember because last time Kanon saw Beatrice in the boiler room, but as like, the butterflies, if I remember right. He goes up to try and attack her, but instead he gets stabbed. And currently they were trying to basically prevent him from dying. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say already that he's gone. He's more than likely gone. I don't want it to be true, but the brother's probably gone. I'm gonna be honest. Alright. In the end, Kanon-kun did not regain consciousness. Oh. Even though Dr. Nanjo and the rest did all they could to heal him, of course there was very little that could be done on an island like this without medicine or proper facilities. However, Kanon was the only human ever to confront the culprit. If only he could give us some kind of clue. However, at the time they carried Kanon away, it was already too late. Yeah, I figured.
申し訳ありません。あのような重傷を設備のないところではどうしようも。
いえ、 無理もないことです。最善を尽くしてくださりありがとうございました。
Of a sudden voice like I don't know if the voice work automatically comes with the Steam version or not. I just remembered, oh yeah, I had the mod installed. That, and I'm too afraid to move this game to another hard drive and reinstall the mod solely because A, space, and also I don't know if it keeps the voices and sprites if I do that, and I don't want to like fuck anything over. Dr. Nanjo's shirt has been sprayed by a violent spurt of blood, so it was easy to imagine the devotion with which he had tried to save Kanon's life up until the last second. Also, is it extremely loud? Because I can't really look at OBS while I'm streaming the game, because that'll either fuck something up or just, well, I can. It's just weird for me to have to do. Jessica was crouched in the corridor, crying softly. She had probably been taking care of Kanon-kun until the moment of his death. George Aniki tried to approach her with words of comfort, but when Jessica pushed him away, he stopped trying to force her to talk and left her alone.
私がカノンさんを一人で行かせなければ。
Oh God, it is loud.
気に病むことはない。仮に一緒だったら熊沢も襲われていたかもしれん。それに愚かにも先走ったゆえの自業自得だ。
そんな言い方ってねえぜ。カノン君は犯人の姿を見つけて勇敢に立ち向かったんだ。熊沢さんも一緒だったら犯人は躊躇して逃げることを選んだかもしれない。
Emotion-filled words that I never thought I'd hear coming from Jessica's mouth tumbled out. I read it as tremble. Kumasawa, looking truly sorry, could do nothing but hang her head.
ジェシカ、今は言葉をかけるべきじゃない。僕だって、そしてバトラ君もだろう。もう何が何だかわからなくて心が張り裂けそうだよ。
There were tears in George Aniki's eyes again. Seeing Jessica break down crying probably brought back the pain of losing his parents. I'd done all my crying at once, so I didn't feel like crying anymore. However, I understood how great the pain in their hearts was.
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカ。カノンにだってまたすぐ会えるよ。
よしてくれよ。そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。
ベアトリーチェは死者も失った愛すらも蘇らせる。
Command grab the child. Like there's no if and or buts. Just command grab the child at this point.
だからきっとすぐに会えるよ。そしてきっとみんなで穏やかに過ごせるから。
カノン君を殺したのがマリアに昨日手紙を渡したっていうベアトリーチェなのか。そいつはどこにいるんだよ。どこに隠れてるんだよ。私が見つけて引き裂いてやる。言えよ。知ってるんだろ犯人の正体を。お前は何を知っていて何を隠してるんだ。話しやがれ。
お嬢様、おやめください。
もそいつは知ってて隠してるんだ。そして俺たちの内情を伝えて殺しの手引きをしてるに違いないんだぜ。
ジェシカ、静かにしなさい。
Just grabbed at Maria. Yeah. She really went from, you know, she's weird but adorable too. Yo, if we drop kick that child out a window, how many of our problems would actually be solved? Like, it went from, she's adorable too. You know, I feel like you should have left. You should have been gone. Genji tried to stop her, but Jessica couldn't be calmed. The next thing I heard was the sound of Anatsui slapping Jessica's face. After that, only Jessica's sorrowful sobbing voice resounded throughout the home.
マリアちゃん、僕は君が断じて犯人ではないことを知っている。君はいつも僕たちと一緒にいたし、犯人なんかと通じている時間はなかった。だから聞かせてほしい。君に昨日手紙を渡したベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
Although those words seemed kind, they clearly showed that George still had some remaining doubts about Maria. He didn't actually grab at her. However, he felt exactly the same way Jessica did.
兄貴、同じことは俺もさっき聞いたぜ。返事は同じさ。
マリアちゃんの口から聞きたい。ベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
言ってもどうせ信じない。
Bitch, if you do not tell them...
それはどういう意味だい？
I'm tired of this rich people nonsense.
ひょっとして僕らのよく知る人物が犯人で、君は何かの事情からそれをかばうために黙っているというのかい？君はあの手紙を誰にもらったんだい？
ベアトリーチェにもらったんだよ。何度だって言う。手紙はベアトリーチェにもらった。ジョージお兄ちゃんがベアトリーチェを信じないのは殴れる相手じゃないから。ジョージお兄ちゃんはやるせない気持ちを暴力に変えて誰かにぶつけたいと思っている。だから殴れる相手が人間じゃなきゃ収まりがつかない。だからそんなジョージお兄ちゃんには真実を話しても受け入れられない。だから言っても無駄。信じない。でもマリアは何度も言うよ。真実だから言うよ。
You know, as much as I hate Maria like this, I gotta take the screenshot of this specific line. It's really strong. But I'll keep on saying it, because it's true.
ベアトリーチェはね、いるの。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるよ。マリアはそこに行くの。ベアトリーチェが約束してくれたの。
She's gonna die horribly. I'm betting. Nah, 'cause when someone goes, so many of us will die, but I'll be the one to go to the promised land. Next one stabbed, I swear. Next one gone. Just like she promised me, her. Yeah, about that promise. No.
その世界ではママも優しくてパパも一緒で優しいの。マリアは早くそこへ行きたいの。みんなはベアトリーチェのことを恐れている。
She's going again. I know I just said it, but I genuinely feel like Maria's gonna die a horrible death solely because of how much faith she has in Maria.
そしてそれは無理もないことだけど
Because she's talking her up so much and going, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the one to go to Golden Land. I'll be there.
なら安心してベアトリーチェは言ってたよ台風が去るまでに全てを終わらせるからって
饒舌なマリアも嫌いじゃねえがとりあえずはそのくらいにしとけ
Oh, hey, Shadow. Shit, I thought you had work today. But hey, Shadow.
魔女はいるいる言ってたお前にとってさぞや現状は愉快だろうがとりあえずそいつはお前だけで噛み締めとけ他人にまで押し付けるんじゃね
おお
こいつ前から気持ち悪いやつだとは思ってたけどおかしいぜどっかおかしいぜバトラは思わねえのかよケンジさんは熊沢さんは母さんはどうだよマリアは犯人の正体を知ってて隠してる確かに直接手を下してるわけじゃないかもしれないでも間違いなく犯人の一味だぜそうさスパイさ私たちと一緒になんかいさせられないぜ
マリアちゃん不謹慎な話を慎むべき時もあることを知りなさいこれ以上混乱に油を注ぐような真似が過ぎればおばさんも本気で怒ります
Aunt Natsui glared at Maria with frightening eyes. Maria was used to Aunt Rose's loud style of scolding, but she apparently hadn't built up a resistance to Aunt Natsui's quiet sort of scolding. She shrugged and kept her mouth shut. A desolate feeling filled the room. It felt as though things would just get more complicated if anyone spoke. How many people have already died? 6 people in Dad's group. After that, both Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi, Kanon-kun, grandfather. There were a whole 18 people on this island, supposedly, and 10 of those people have been killed. It's more than half of us. And right now, there's absolutely no proof that the remaining 8 people will be safe.
とにかく今は仲違いをしている時ではありません犯人が神出鬼没に屋敷内を出入りしていることが間違いなくなった今私たちは明日まで身を守ることだけに専念しなくてはなりません
夏日おばさんに極めて同感だぜ犯人探しは今夜ゆっくりできるさ今はどこで籠城するかを考えた方がいい
As I said this, I pointed the clock out to everyone. Oh. It was already 8 at night. We'd been receiving shocks over and over again since the early morning, and our bodies and minds were both completely tired out. There's still a long, long time until tomorrow. We needed to find some place to barricade ourselves in, so we could rest our bodies and get even the smallest amount of relief.
私も同感ですな私も含めもうみんな体も心も限界まで打ちのめされています今からそれを考えた方が賢明でしょうな
そういうこった。敵はマスターキーに準ずるものを持っている公算が高い。
シャノンやカノン君、ゴーダさんはマスターキーを持ってましたか？
はい。勤務時間中だったなら身につけていたはずです。
現場をいじらない方がいいってんでそこまでは調べなかったろうが、誰かの鍵が奪われている可能性は否定できねえな。
そもそも犯人はバラ庭園倉庫のシャッターを開けるために一度使用人室を訪れている可能性があります。そこでマスターキーをすでに入手していると考えて間違いないでしょう。
Shit is finally. Yeah. To be fair, it's been happening for a good minute, and the only reason it didn't happen faster is because I'm always indecisive, and work exists. It's the main reason shit hasn't been happening. Did I skip on? Okay, no, I didn't. There were many servants serving the Ushiramiya family. Because of that, there were several master keys. Furthermore, every time one employee started or finished working, the keys were passed between servants. And we had to acknowledge that this had probably gotten a bit sloppy at times in the past.
仮に殺された使用人の誰かのポケットから鍵束を拝借したとして。
Wait, ironically enough, shit hasn't been happening because you've been doing. Oh, my bad. I was just. I guess I misread the comment. I'm brain not at max, and also I still don't have glasses, so. Still in like a perpetual state of 7 a.m.
その鍵でも開けられない安全な場所はあるのか？
私たちはお仕事の都合上、すべてのお部屋の鍵を預かっております。お屋敷もゲストハウスもすべてです。
つまり私たちはどこへ立てこもって鍵をかけようと意味がないってわけだ。上等だぜ。鍵なんかいるもんか。来るなら来やがれってんだ。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
敵は正面から来ないよ。最初の6人はともかく母さんたちやカノン君、そしておじい様の霊を見る限り敵は孤立した人間だけを狙ってる。一部屋に固まっている僕たちのところへ堂々と乗り込んでこられるほどの力はないんだよ。
そうだな、兄貴の言う通りだ。ひょっとするとおばさんのライフル銃が抑止効果として成立してるのかもしれないぜ。
なら良いのですが。
待ってろ。
Just looked at her and said, "Shut the fuck up, we know where this is going." Maria probably wanted to say something about how witches weren't afraid of things like guns. If she were to say it out loud, the atmosphere around here would start to get pretty edgy. I had noticed and decided to put a stop to it.
よろしいでしょうか。一箇所だけ使用人の鍵束でも入れない場所が。
それはどこです？
はい、親方様の書斎です。
私は反対だぜ。じい様の気持ち悪い部屋になんか入りたくない。
あの部屋に入れる鍵は何本あるんですか？
Battler just they're like, I don't believe in any of the shit going on. Like, that's what I've gotten from this whole chapter. Just, bro, I don't know. Which may be real. It's not real. There's a logical explanation for this. Bro, they didn't enter the room. My parents got shanked. They're dead. Okay, but there has to be a logical reasoning. My nigga, they did not come in the window. There was no way. Just, look, it's literally just what's a god to a non-believer? The god. I'm literally right here.
2本です。1本は常に私が。もう1本は親方様がお持ちでしたが、先ほどボイラー室の遺体からこれを。
Like, it's too, I understand Battler being skeptical and having the whole thing of, like, you know, logically flipping a chessboard and seeing things from the other side, etc., etc. But, like, come on, man, it gets to a point where you have to give up and acknowledge shit that you can't explain is happening right now. Like, there's no way you can logically explain how any of these people died because they were all in rooms that had no sign of a break-in in any way, shape, or form, but they were still killed, and these weren't suicides. Because if they were, why would they have them framed like killings? And even then, even with the first 6, that sure as hell wouldn't even be, like, feasible as a suicide. So I'm sitting here like, bro, if the witch is real, you saw Kanon chase those fucking butterflies and then get shanked. Well, not get shanked, but you saw the aftermath of him chasing the butterflies to a room after hearing a laugh. Like, that nigga's gone. He got shanked and is dead. Like, there's no logical explanation. The witch is real, dude.
本来なら警察のために鍵も残すべきだったんですが。親方様より書斎の留守は必ず守るようにと仰せつけられておりましたもので、私がお預かりさせていただいておりました。
なるほど。ということは金蔵さんの書斎は唯一の安全地帯というわけですな。
そういうことになりますね。あの怪しげな匂いの部屋に一晩も立てこもるなど考えたくもありませんが、あの部屋が一番安全であることを今は認めなければならないようです。
その安全な部屋に閉じこもってたじいさまを犯人は連れ出して殺してる。絶対安全とは言い切れねえけどな。
バトラ君の説のおじい様がうまくレシートをやり過ごして自分の意思で部屋を出たと考えるなら籠城の価値はあるかもしれない。
へえ、楽観的すぎだぜ兄貴。
Nigga, I don't want to hear this from the guy who's still trying to apply logic to a situation where magic exists. Shut the fuck. However, at the same time, I thought he brought up a pretty interesting point. After all, this gives us a chance to question the enemy, the witch herself, about how the sealed door had been opened. If we assume the culprit used some technique to kidnap grandfather from the study, they'd have to show us the same trick again if they wanted to assault us in the study. And that'd give us a chance to make the culprit prove how they did it right before our eyes. if she's really a witch, we'll be forcing her to use her little magic trick to open the door right in front of us. But that's probably impossible. If you spin the chessboard around, it's obvious the culprit is acting in a way that'll make us think they're a witch. If she really is a witch, all she's got to do is appear in front of us and wow us with her colorful display of magic. Since she's avoiding doing that, everything must be the work of a fake witch who wants us to think she's real. Therefore, a culprit who used a technique other than magic to defeat the closed room couldn't open the door before our eyes.
じいさんの部屋ってのは8人で押しかけても大丈夫なくらいの広さなんすか?
Again, I'd be more willing to listen to him trying to logic things out if this was fully logical. It's really not.
はい。ベッドにソファー、毛布類もありますので、
Like, I think my
贅
issue was
沢を言わなければ十分に夜を越すことができます。
I thought the line was finished, so I tried to speak over it, but I feel like my only real issue with Battler so far as a character is just that, I get skepticism, but it's just one of those, he's clearly a smart guy, obviously. He's trying to apply logic to things that just aren't there. Like, bro, it's not, I guarantee you, it's not that deep, and the child's more than likely right.
流しにご不浄。冷蔵庫に酒棚もあります。
Like, it's just a case of monsters don't exist. That's a guy in a wig. Oh no, that's a guy in a mask. Tries to pull off the mask. The mask is disturbingly real. Nigga, that's a monster. Oh. He dips into irrational. Yeah. And I can understand why, because, you know, he's probably still more than likely still emotionally fucked up because, you know, family's been dying left and right and it's only been like 1 to 2 days.
ひゅー、そいつはすげえぜ。しかしおかしなもんだな。自分の家の中にさらに自分の家を作ったってのか？島を丸ごと買って自分の夢を全て実現しきったじいさまの最後の家にしちゃ随分手狭なんだな。
He's no longer intelligent or logical when there's irrefutable proof of... Yeah.
そうですね。
It's like, bro, here's the evidence. No, it's false. What do you mean it's false? We literally caught the witch on camera. Like, she magicked into the room. Like, the footage didn't skip. False.
いつの頃からかお父様にとっては屋敷内ですら心を許せる場所ではなくなってしまったのでしょう。
そこに引きこもっていたのを私たちは嘲笑い、そして今度は私たちがそこに立てこもろうってわけだ。
Jessica spat the words out.
ジェシカちゃんは立てこもるより犯人を探しに行きたいという感じだね。
もちろんこっちから探しに行って見つけられるなんて思っちゃいないぜ。結局は待つしかない。ならどこで待ったって同じだろ。逃げも隠れもしない。
Okay, text. I thought the game crashed because it was trying to write out the word then, and then it just ended on TH and just picks up on the next line with EN.
客までテレビでも見ながらのんびり現れるのを待とうじゃねえかよ、ベアトリーチェ様をよ。
現れなければ現れないで十分です。犯人を暴くのは 私たちである必要がないからです。
正論ですな。警察が来るまで危険を冒すべきではありません。
ありがとう南條先生。私はお父様の書斎に移るべきだと思います。確かにお父様が連れ出された可能性があり、絶対の安全が保証されているわけではない。しかしバトラ君の推理のお父様が何らかの方法で自ら書斎を出て外で襲われた可能性も否定できません。
A while back, I proposed that strange theory as a stopgap measure. But just as Aunt Eva said, even though that trick would be possible, I couldn't explain what motive could have made Grandfather sneak out of his own study in such a troublesome way. Plus, Grandfather couldn't even have used that trick unless he knew that the receipt was wedged in the door. Aunt Eva hadn't pointed out that last part, but it's clear how absurd the theory was. So does that mean the sealed door formed a closed room just as Aunt Eva claimed? Is it an undeniable... Oh god. I accidentally pressed... I accidentally pressed forward. Is it an undeniable fact that Aunt Natsu was the culprit? If Aunt Eva were here now, she'd probably make that claim openly and blow my strange theory away. But anyway, I had to admit that a room with both a bed and a toilet that all 8 people could shut up in, and with only 2 keys, both of which were gathered here, had to be the safest place in the mansion right now. At the very least, I figured this would be better than just staying shut up in the parlor. Staying shut up in the parlor and hoping nothing would go wrong. But wait, have we... No, damn it. I have started to use the keyboard to actually progress because I realize the clicking of the mouse can get annoying. And then I keep tapping the mouse pad by accident. But wait, have we been safe only because we've been shut up in the parlor? What if leaving that room and moving to an unexplored location is actually more dangerous? It's useless, it's useless, it's all useless. My flimsy head's about to break out in a fever. If I keep spinning the chessboard around, right and wrong will keep switching places over and over, and I won't be able to believe anything. When it seems like the culprit is one of the 18, I want to believe in Beatrice. And once I start believing in Beatrice, I start wanting to find the culprit amid the 18. If that keeps spinning around forever, and in the end, my thoughts won't have taken one step away from where they started. Also, hey Alex, Battler better watch that fever. Man, he's still very much in this case of local man tries to apply logic to magic. It's literally just kind of him. Just how far back in the past was it that Kyrie-san taught me about chessboard thinking? That concept of examining the situation by spinning it around and thinking from the enemy's side. I seem to remember being so interested by it back then. I used it to guide all my thinking. By the way, Kyrie-san was Dad's co-worker back then. I never dreamed that she'd someday be added to our family. Didn't Kyrie-san tell me something once? I get the feeling she once said that while this chessboard thinking was one way to look at things, it certainly wasn't all powerful. And it wouldn't be good to rely on it too much.
チェス盤思考ってのはね、昔本で読んだゲーム理論というものを私なりに解釈したものよ。とても面白い学問だから、 バトラ君も大学に入ったら挑戦してみるといいわよ。
ぜひやってみたいっす。それを勉強してチェス盤思考をもっと鍛えたら、どんな相手の手の内も読めるみたいで楽しいじゃないっすか。
でもね、盲信しちゃダメよ。ゲーム理論は非常に奥深く複雑な学問なの。チェス盤思考はその上辺だけを私なりに解釈した考え方に過ぎない。バトラ君が想像するほどに相手の手の内を読み切るには相当の勉強が必要よ。しかもチェス盤理論は応用の利く便利なものではあっても完璧ではない。
Honestly, Alex, if you didn't say it, I feel like someone else would have just sat here like, you know, I'm just gonna ignore that.
便利ではあっても弱点が多い。
弱点？
ええ。チェス盤思考の基礎はゲーム理論。ゲーム理論は突き詰めると数学に行き着くの。数学の弱点は何か知ってる？ノイズよ。
In math, when you write 1 plus 1 equals 2, that process will always result in 1 plus 1 equals 2, no matter how many billions of years pass, nothing more, nothing less. That's because there's absolutely no noise mixed in. But for example, unlike math, Japanese language has noise mixed in. Kanji are a good example. Old kanji and new kanji are slightly different, which represents an introduction of noise created by the changes between time periods. Isn't history the same? There are dozens of policies that seem foolish in the modern era, but were meaningful at some point in the past. But the rules of chess are fixed. When a pair of experts are discussing one particular layout, it's possible they could reach the same conclusions whether they're from 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future. However, if the rules of chess had gone through massive changes over time, it's possible that a discussion about the same layout would have changed as well.
その通り。人の世の事象は本来ノイズだらけなのよ。人の感情だってそうでしょ？全く同じことが起こったからといって人は必ず決められた反応を示すとは限らない。それを数学の理論で当てはめ相手の行動を読もうとする時点ですでに理論には弱点と限界があることを知らなければならない。手っ取り早く言うとチェス盤思考はノイズや気まぐれ、そして誤解、認識ミスに非常に弱いの。
That's right. Kyrie-san definitely said that. Chess has always been a game where both sides play by the same rules and fight with the same conditions for victory. That's why it's possible for both sides to predict the other's moves. It's possible to read your opponent because you can always suppose they'll make the best moves when they can find. But what if your opponent is fickle or a bit tired and makes a move that can hardly be called the best? Or what if this game actually has a special rule? Some unknown thing that only the enemy knows about and can use. In fact, what if the opponent actually has some goal other than victory? Think from your enemy's perspective. That's the basis of chessboard thinking. Which means if you misread your enemy, the answer you draw from this process will be complete rubbish. Useless. You don't know me. So far, I've used chessboard theory to guess several vague bits of information about the culprit hiding behind this case, or so I think. However, I don't know anything about the culprit. Am I just playing around in a labyrinth of thought? Yes. High key, yeah. If Kyrie-san were here at a time like this, she'd probably be able to notice something with her much, much sharper thinking ability. Until the very last moment, Jessica resisted moving into grandfather's study. But in the end, Aunt Natsui persisted, and we decided to move there. Everyone was completely wrapped in paranoia by now. Kumasawa-san had prepared dinner at one point, but during the time we were discovering the deaths of George Aniki's parents, both the kitchen and the parlor had been left empty. Someone suggested that the food might have been poisoned while we were gone. Because of that, we were unable to even touch the food that Kumasawa had taken the trouble to make for us. Assuming I'm gonna make the best possible. Oh, that's what that was in context. I was confused. I was saying, what did I say? The manner in which the first 6 were killed was still unknown, but it certainly could have been poison. Certainly that would allow even a single person to carry out the murder of 6 large adults. Furthermore, this idea made it easy to imagine there being only a single culprit, one who'd be afraid of Aunt Natsui's rifle. And this was very good for our emotional stability. But the fatigue and hunger were even harsher than we'd imagined. Then, Kumasawa-san made a proposal, and we all went together to the kitchen. There we gathered some canned food and other things that'd be hard to poison to take in with us. All of Kumasawa-san's efforts to reward us with just a little dinner on this savage day regrettably came to nothing. The food piled up on the serving cart looked just a little sad. We all started climbing up the stairs. Aunt Natsui, who was in the lead, warily stared into the darkness, with both eyes in the barrel of the gun. Once we dragged ourselves up to the 3rd floor, just as Aunt Natsui had warned us of beforehand. There was a mixture of a chemical smell and a stickily sweet aroma, a stench hanging in the air that felt like it was eating into our hearts.
なるほど。こりゃ一晩もこもったら頭痛にでもなりそうな匂いだな。今さらながらじい様の書斎に反対したジェシカに賛成だぜ。
It felt like the stench was floating out from this magnificent door. It was the door to the forbidden study, which should defend against any who would enter. While Genji-san unlocked the door, Maria stared at the door and the doorknob with great interest.
Oh.
Smell of dead people.
すごいドア。
They just start throwing the corpses in every random room just to do it.
古くいかめしくて常連に通じなさそうな。いかにもじい様の書斎にふさわしい扉だよな。
Beatrice just starts throwing the fucking corpses in every room just to fuck with them.
霊的な悪意を退ける力がとても強く込められている。
Most dickheaded thing imaginable. It'd be a waste of time, but she'd just be like, I could kill them, or could fuck with them. It'd be funny.
多分ベアトリーチェはこの扉を開けられないね。
お？それどういうことだよ。
Maria pointed at the doorknob. A scorpion crest. No, a design like a magic circle arranged around a scorpion was inscribed here. That design, that's right. Isn't it just like those keychain charms Maria gave Jessica and me yesterday?
火星の5の魔法陣は強力な魔除け。しかもこの魔法陣は相当丹念に作られていて力がよく満ちている。魔の者であるベアトリーチェにとってこの魔法陣はとても厄介だろうね。
それは心強いじゃねえか。この部屋なら ベアトリーチェのマッシュから逃げられるってことだろ。うちの魔女様は実に頼もしいぜ。
ならベアトリーチェはどうやって中のおじい様を？
The better show she's gonna get caught by everyone. I don't think her issue is getting caught. Because when you're magic, when you're magic, you don't have to give a shit. The only big issue is Natsui has a gun. And again, like with Kano, she could just turn into butterflies. And then a dumbass would chase her, and then, get shanked. Get shanked 5-head. Knowing everything at... Oh, no. No, Alex. Everyone has literally called out how Maria's being weird. At this point, I think they've just accepted it. They don't like it, but they've accepted it. And before you came in on, Jessica accused Maria of knowing who the culprit is, but she kept replying, it's Beatrice. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's true.
でも彼女には魔法があるし使い魔だっている。それらを使っておじいさまが自分から書斎を出てくるように仕向けることはできるかも。
ああ、漫画で読んだな。吸血鬼は十字架が怖くて近づけねえけど、使い魔たちはへっちゃらなんで使い魔に襲わせるみたいなシーンを読んだことがあるぜ。
バトラたちに昨日あげたサソリのキーホルダーのようなお守りもこの火星の5の魔法陣だよ。込められている力は微々たるものだけど、この島を出るまでの間を守ってくれるだけなら十分だった。なくしちゃったそうだけどね。
サソリのキーホルダーのお守り？
ああ、昨日私が母さんに渡したお守りはマリアにもらったものだったんだよ。ドアノブにかけると魔除けになるとか言われて、私より母さんの方がいいかなってあの時は思って。
そうでしたか。ジェシカにしては変わったものを持っていると思っていました。
夏日おばさんがあれをドアノブに？
ええ、夕べそう聞き、寝る前に扉の内側のドアノブにかけました。
なら夏日おばさんはとても幸運だよ。そうだったなら夕べベアトリーチェは夏日おばさんに指一本触れられなかっただろうね。ベアトリーチェはさぞや悔しがったと思うよ。
Beatrice? Annoyed? Couldn't lay one finger? Natsui thought back on the eerie scribble she'd seen that morning, as though someone had been tearing at the outside of her door with blood-soaked hands and grasped in surprise. Thanks, Marine. Gasped in surprise. Could it be that this witch who called herself Beatrice tried to enter through the door to Natsui's own room? But the magic repelling charm had been hanging from the inside, so she couldn't break through the door. So she was annoyed. So she scratched at it?
よせよ、そういう話。魔女なんかいないぜ。いるのは犯人。それも私たちと同じ人間だ。それを確かめる必要があるってなら、八つ先にして血が赤いかも確認してやろうじゃねえか。
Jessica, I get it. I really do. To be fair, a lot of people in this situation need to calm down.
くそ。
Genji unlocked the door. Throws water on the Lord. Oh no. Throws water on the painting. We did it. The problem was solved. 8 people entered Kinzo's study. Grandfather's study. I'd heard rumors about it beforehand, so I wasn't that shocked. We throw handcuffs on Maria so she can't defend the painting. No. Alright, put the 9-year-old in handcuffs. What does this accomplish? One of us can just hold her back. Listen, trust nothing. He had done nothing more than fortify it thoroughly with his occult hobbies. If Grandfather's hobby had been chasing after pop idols, these walls might have buried... These walls might be buried beneath idol posters. Okay. Even if I didn't understand it, I did realize that this room was a bundle of all his pastimes. Even so, I couldn't help but remain dumbfounded by the smell of his creepy medicine and the sweet stench that seemed to melt my head. When the door was closed, it automatically made a clunk. I see. This is the auto lock that's activated whenever the door is closed. There were only 2 keys that could open this door from the outside, both of which were in this room. In other words, it had become a closed room. The shutter, the receipt, the chain, and now the auto lock. This 4th door had the most magnificent lock yet, and this was doubtlessly a closed room. Just to make absolutely sure that the room is secure, we checked all over for ways in or out. The window was tightly locked. That should have been enough, but just in case, we tried knocking all over the walls. After all, we had talked about there being a hidden door in this room, but we couldn't find anything suspicious. If Beatrice is gonna play dirty, then we can't too. We start by vandalizing everything and shooting holes in her paintings and walls. The cops show up. What the fuck happened? Pulling out axes and busting stuff. Nah, the cops show up. What the fuck happened? Listen. So, family got murdered. Revenge. And that required you to tear up these paintings on the walls. I mean, it's creepy as fuck why they have the same painting as one lady, but what did y'all accomplish by doing this? Look like that'd be some shit. Just the cops, what did you accomplish? Like, we're just gonna kind of assume you're the murderer. You're the people who are chopping shit up randomly. We couldn't find it. Oh yeah, I read that. Grandfather's study was very large. Even though we called it a study, it wasn't really a single room. It could be divided up into 4 basic sections. A study section, a bathroom section, a toilet/bathroom section. Did I say a bathroom section twice? Oh, who cares? And a section for cooking that had a sink. I see. The study really does have enough in it to live in. Now I see how Grandfather could have lived his whole life in this room without ever leaving. It seemed Grandfather wasn't in the habit of watching TV because there was no television or even a radio in this room. He can't do anything except pass the time listening to the sound of the rain until tomorrow morning. Dr. Nanja looked closely at the chessboard that sat on the table in front of the sofa and muttered. It was apparently the partly finished chess match he'd been playing with Grandfather until yesterday. The black had the white pretty well cornered, and it looked like checkmate would be reached within a few moves. The last part of the game. Even though checkmate had almost been reached, the end game had been rushed. Oh yeah, was it Kenzo Westwood? I keep forgetting these guys are right. Yeah. He's the reason his children are named Rosa and Eva. Rosa, Marie. No, not Marie. Rosa, Eva, fucking Kraus, Rudolph. Even though oh yeah. And in the end was never completed.
Kinzo-san, やはりこの勝負は決着がつきませんでしたな。
南條先生、
わしは長く金蔵さんの友人だったが、金蔵さんのことを知っているのは半分だけでしかなかった。金蔵さんにはいつも聡明な金蔵さんと何かの狂気にとらわれた金蔵さんの2人が同居していたように思う。わしは金蔵さんのことを何も理解してはおらんかった。
特にベアトリーチェ様のことになると人が変わったようでしたっけね。
In the direction of Kumasawa-san's upward gaze, a portrait of Beatrice could be seen. It wasn't massive like the one hanging in the entrance hall, but it was small, made for this room. Grandfather probably spent every day in this room and so much of his time talking to the witch in that portrait. Who was Beatrice to Grandfather in the first place? Right now, you couldn't just explain it away by saying it was a story made by the parents to frighten children away from wandering into the forest. While eating the canned food we brought from the kitchen, we talked together about who Beatrice was. Whether the culprit was Beatrice herself or someone pretending to be her. Whether they were a witch or a human, that was besides the point. The woman in this portrait was strongly related to the roots of the background of this background of this case. Fuck. Funny if someone paid me to paint a portrait of Beach. Oh no, Beatrice Real 2022. Oh no. You couldn't talk about this case without talking about her.
So da. 母さん、エヴァおばさんたちの部屋で犯人の手紙を拾ったんでしょ?
Like, Alex, listen, it's like that one cosplayer I follow on Twitter. Oh yeah, you won't have, actually I don't think anyone in chat would have context for this, but to cut something that I was gonna over-explain short, there's a Japanese cosplayer on Twitter who's shown up on my timeline a lot, who cosplays Rena a lot, and is honestly, she legitimately looks like if Rena was a real person. And then I sit there like, oh god, Rena Real 2022. That's something I'm not ready for. Just, Rena's great. If she was real, I'd just be like, oh no. No, I gotta leave. I'd just be sitting there like, oh fuck, what do you mean the dimensions are merging? I gotta leave.
まだ開けていませんでしたね。開けてみましょう。
Natsui took out that western envelope. Genji-san pulled a paper knife out of a drawer in the study desk and handed it to her. While watching her open it, George Aniki grimaced slightly. After all, it was a letter left at the site where his parents had been murdered. There was a good chance its contents would say something unbearable to Aniki. Aunt Natsui also seemed to realize that, so she glanced over the contents first without reading it aloud. Japanese VA looks like him, and ironically, I've actually never seen an image of Junko Takeuchi. I only know her as Naruto, original Aramika, and Hokutomaru from Garo Mark of the Wolves.
内容は何？
Similar huh.
不愉快な一文があります。私たちを挑発するつもりなのでしょう。
Natsui, after deciding that the contents could be shown to the children, set it openly on the table. Everyone started at it. I feel like started it at the same time would have been fine, because I thought I misread it.
我が名をたたえよ。なんだよこれ。うせえぜ。
ベアトリーチェの勝ち名乗りみたいなものだろうね。
Started at it, as in they ran at it. Like, yeah, it just started at it at the same time. I'm sitting there like, I don't think one of those ats needs to be there. Ready to deck the painting in the face.
大方、また怪しげな魔法陣でも出てくるのを期待してたんだろう。
Now Jessica runs up, hits the painting with her 7+ frame sweep. I had to get one. They all got ready to jump it. Oh no.
魔法陣ではなかったけどね。想像は裏切られなかったよ。
Nah, just Beatrice decides to actively come out of the painting once, just to literally taunt them. Everyone, jump! Just immediately everyone pulls out a spiked bat out of nowhere.
どういう意味でしょう。自分の存在を誇示したいのでしょうか。
そう考えるのが妥当でしょう。この手紙で初めて私たちは昨夜の手紙の主が犯人であると理解できる。ここに書かれている内容よりも昨夜と同じ封筒でというところに意味があるものと思います。
封筒も風浪も間違いなく親方様が使われていたものです。
おお、もう私には何が何だか分かりませんよ。こんなことは後宮のお家にお仕えして以来初めてのことです。
昨日の手紙の言う通りなら、ベアトリーチェは自称じい様の最古の腹心だ。じい様も常々そう口にしてたんですよね。
spoke to Genji-san and Kumasawa-san, who nodded together.
ってことは、じいさまの次に詳しいのは源氏さんと熊沢さんってことになる。話してくれないっすか？
私は長いことわざと耳にしなかった話です。ですがこの後に及んではそうも言っていられません。源氏、知っている限りを話しなさい。
Genji-san didn't answer. Did he remain silent despite his knowledge, or did he know nothing at all? Still, I had a good guess. The ghost story of the witch Beatrice had long been deified among... Deified? Deified amongst the servants. That is a new word to me. He had probably been very close to grandfather within his occult hobbies. So there was a good chance that he'd been indoctrinated with even weirder things, and had increasingly come to deify the witch. Okay. As grandfather's most trusted servant who had sworn loyalty to him, he might be the most influenced by the illusion of the witch that grandfather had created. So there was only one reason for Genji-san to remain silent. He could speak, but it would definitely cause a backlash, so it was better if he kept his mouth shut. And it wasn't like we'd believe him anyway. Something along those lines. A short while ago, Maria had been more than willing to speak bluntly and unrestrainedly. And that had earned her a scuffle with Jessica. It was natural for Genji-san to keep his silence.
Otou-sama no aijin desu ka?
His concubine? That could be possible. For ordinary poor people, polygamy isn't only viewed negatively from a moral perspective. It's also an unmaintainable financial situation. But that isn't the case for the very rich. It's possible for them to have another lover in addition to their real wife. We can't deny the possibility that grandfather had another woman in his life besides grandmother.
かもな。ばあ様は生きてた頃よく疑ってたらしいぜ。浮気相手がいるってな。俺はてっきりそれはじい様の想像の中の魔女のことを指してるんだとばかり思ってたんだが。
そりゃなんとも面白い話になってきたぜ。源氏さんは俺に言ったよな。ベアトリーチェはこの屋敷ができる以前からじい様に仕えてたって。
お屋敷が竣工したのは昭和27年と聞いています。
昭和27。
ってことはベアトリーチェという人は30年以上も昔からおじい様と連れ添っていたということになるね。
その30年前の愛人、もしくはその縁者や隠し子が何かの恨みがあって何らかの復讐を企んだか。なるほど、洋館ミステリーっぽいありがちなストーリーになってきたじゃねえか。
汚らわしい話ですが一番納得できる筋書きです。どうですか、源氏。
おそらく 親方様に恋愛の感情は終わりになられたでしょう。亡くなられた奥様より愛しておられたに違いありません。
ベアトリーチェってのは何者なんだよ。そして今はどうしてるんだ。
お屋敷ができるより前にお亡くなりになったと聞いています。
すでに死んでいる？
He's already dead.
はい。親方様は大層深く悲しまれ、ベアトリーチェ様を蘇らせる方法として黒魔術に傾倒なさっていったのです。親方様はベアトリーチェ様を心の底から愛しておられたのです。このような狂気に駆り立てるほどに。
As Genji-san said this, he spread his arms as though asking us to look at this room, filled with the signs of grandfather's madness. We were all at a loss for words. Normally, black magic seems like it'd just be creepy, and it's really hard to imagine why someone might be so enraptured by it. Since Kinzo was just an eccentric who had restored the Ushiromiya family amidst his madness, nobody had tried to understand him. The only thing on grandfather's mind had been the loss of a beloved woman, and his inescapable sorrow. Earlier, this room had seemed creepy, but in an instant, it had changed into something we could understand completely. The creepy books, the magic circles, the medicine, all of it. It all existed simply because he wanted to revive the face of a single woman who had left this world over 30 years ago.
一度だけ深く酔われた親方様にベアトリーチェ様のお話を聞かされたことがあります。詳しいことは忘れてしまいましたが、それはもう女の私が聞いて羨むような深い深い愛情でございました。
金蔵さんは後宮家の当主を継いだ時、当時まだ生き残っていた後宮家の長老たちの意向で亡くなった奥さんとの結婚を決められたのです。
つまり後宮家にとって得になる女性との結婚を強制された。
さようです。金蔵さんはお家復興のためだけに当主に据えられ、全ての重責を背負わされたのです。そんな金蔵さんがどこでどういう経緯でベアトリーチェと知り合ったのかは分かりかねます。
それ以上語るのは無粋だな。
That was when grandfather truly fell in love for the first time. Just how deep was this affection for her? That was easy to see just by looking around us. This room was covered with piles upon piles of things having to do with black magic.
And grandfather spent every day shut in here, immersed in his research and isolated from the outside world, never regretting 1 minute of it. You couldn't help but recognize the depths of grandfather's love for Beatrice.
私誤解してたよ、ケンジさん。
何をでしょうか。
私、使用人の人たちが魔女を問診するのは、じい様の気持ち悪い黒魔術趣味に感化されてるからじゃないかってずっと思ってきた。違ったんだな。
Acting as though Beatrice's soul at least had been restored. Existed within this mansion. They might have hoped to soothe grandfather's heart. With closed eyes and the expression of one remembering something from the distant past, Genji had broken his long silence. In making that confession, he probably felt like he was betraying his one and only master in the most serious way, even though that person was already dead. Beatrice has revived as a witch, and she's in the mansion even now. Genji had said it. Had believed it. Had made people believe it. Would take that with him to the grave. This might have been the last service he could offer up to his master. He was in love with a Beatrice. No. The legend of the witch, the mysterious tale of Rokenjima that was still whispered amongst the servants. Its true nature was a sad lie. No, it was an act of kindness towards grandfather, who had lost the person he loved above all else.
私はお父様の前で魔女を否定する話を何度か口にした覚えがあります。今ならそれがどれだけお父様を傷つけていたかわかります。
今の僕にならわかるよ。シャノンを蘇らせる方法が黒魔術だというなら、僕は今すぐにもこの部屋の次の主となって研究を始めるよ。
兄貴。
Another strand of tears dripped from George's eyes. Maybe his tears were infectious. Tears rose to Jessica's eyes too, and she sniffled.
ベアトリーチェは言っていたよ。もうじき蘇ることができる。会うことができるって。
Very soon, the door to Golden Land will be opened. In the promised land that glitters gold, the souls of all the dead will be resurrected, along with the love that's been lost. Then I'll sleep in a world of peacefulness for all time.
そう言ったのか。マリアに手紙を渡したベアトリーチェは。
信じないよね。
It's nice and all, but it doesn't change the fact that she's hurting our family for no. Yeah.
ここにじいさまがいたならきっと喜んだろうな。もうじきベアトリーチェが蘇ることにさぞや踊り上がって喜んだろうな。なら俺は信じたぜ。じいさまが半生をかけて研究したことで蘇り、愛した女の魂が蘇ったと信じて寿命を全うできるって言うんなら。
バトラー、
一人の女性をずっと愛し続けた気持ちが
Swear to God, if it turns out she was actually his wife, I don't know how to feel. That'd be some shit. Because then who would be the third person? That'd be some shit. Also, Beatrice is our grandmother. She's our what?
周りにも伝わり真実となる。
Grandma really said you
それを気遣いと呼べば
fuck them kids.
それまでだろう。
Oh no. It's literally just the image of Michael Jordan, but it's Beatrice. Just fuck them kids.
今の僕はあえてそれを魔法と呼んであげたいね。
気遣いじゃないよ。本当に魔法だよ。魔女だよ。やっぱり誰にもベアトリーチェの姿は見えないんだね。
Some time passed. As we listened to the sound of the rain, we considered what kind of love and madness must possess the owner of this room as he spent half of his life here.
女の私から聞けば、お父様の純愛の気持ちも少しは理解したいところですが、それではお母様の立つ瀬がありません。
同感だぜ。浮気は浮気。綺麗事にされちゃかなわねえよな。
それもそうだな。ばあ様が気の毒になっちまうぜ。
それでベアトリーチェとおじい様の間に子供がいたなんて話はある？
The keyword Beatrice has been hidden in every corner of this case, so it's natural to suspect some relative of hers.
いえ、そのような話は聞いたことがありません。
仮にいたとしたら最愛の人の忘れがたみとしてきっと全ての愛情を注ぎ込んだだろうね。それがなく黒魔術に没頭していったなら子供はいなかったと考えるべきなのかな。
そういえばこんな噂を聞いたことがあるぜ。知ってるだろ？じいさまが福音の家っていう孤児院に莫大な援助をしてるって話。
よしなさい。それはお父様を冒涜する中傷に過ぎません。
See, say that.
教えてくれよ、夏日おばさん。隠し事はなしなのはおばさんもだと思うっすよ。
Yeah, this hiding shit is over. Like 10 of y'all are dead.
くだらない話です。お父様はその施設に莫大な援助をし、社会勉強の一環として当家の使用人雇用枠を開放していました。それをお父様に汚らわしい趣味があると吹聴する愚か者がいたというだけの話です。
一時期それは 黒魔術の生贄にするためだみたいな噂になってさ。実際いつもこの部屋で怪しげな実験や儀式を繰り返してたわけで、私も半分は信じてたところがあったぜ。
その福音の家出身の使用人ってのは？
何人かいますが、親族会議中のシフトではシャノンとカノンの2人でした。
To resurrect Beatrice, we brought in servants from an orphanage as human sacrifices?
確かにじい様が使用人として選ぶのはいつもシャノンやカノン君くらいの若い子ばかり。私だってじい様には妙な趣味があるに違いないって信じてたぜ。
ジェシカ、言葉を慎みなさい。
And Natsui scolded her. The atmosphere instantly went sour and everyone felt quiet. However, something was tugging at the back of my mind. Sacrifices. Sacrifices. Human sacrifices brought over from an orphanage. What is it? Freaky words like sacrifices don't pop up often. And yet, I've seen or heard that word recently. And yet, I've seen. Oh, sorry, I read that. Some part of my memory is tugging at me. Maybe it's just. What do you know? I had arrived in front of the portrait of Beatrice. It wasn't as massive as the one in the entrance hall. But that portrait, which must have been drawn by some famous painter, was still just as intimidating in this smaller size. Below it, just like the entrance hall, was the epitaph that is supposedly hidden at the location of the hidden gold.
"なんだよバトラ."
Who the fuck messaged me on my phone? Oh. I was confused. See, who the fuck is texting me at 2 p.m. on a Sunday?
急に気持ち悪いこと言うなよ。
生贄を6人。
Both of my eyes are wide as plates. Everything's been predicted from right there from the very beginning. Everyone crowded around, and the same expression of shock rose to all our faces. That's right. It's right there in the epitaph. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices.
間違いない。最初に死んだのは6人だ。そしてシャッターに書かれた魔法陣じゃねえ、ヘブライ語でも生贄を捧げると書いてあった。
おお、私は最初からそう言ってる。
That's right, Maria said right at the start. But after we found the 6 bodies, when Maria was in the parlor watching TV, she said it. Ooh, the culprit isn't human. It's just the sacrifices chosen by the key.
これは黄金の隠し場所なんかじゃねえ。黒魔術か何かの復活の儀式の手順なんだ。確かこの碑文には大勢の死が必要になるはず。確
かにざっと読むだけでも 6たす2たす5で13人は死ななくちゃならないことになってるぜ。
普段はこの島には何人いるんですか？
使用人のシフトにもよるでしょうが、お父様、夫に、私にジェシカ、そして使用人が2、3人。昨日今日は5人いてもらってますが、普段はそこまでいません。
ってことはだ、この儀式を実行しようとしたら普段じゃ生贄が足らないってわけだ。いや違うぜ。じいさまは福音の家から不気味な儀式の生贄にするために使用人を取ったという噂。
つまりなんだよ。生贄の人数を増やすために使用人を増やし、さらに人数が集まる年に一度の親族会議を、この儀式を執り行える年にたった一度唯一のタイミングだったってことじゃねえか。
When Jessica screamed this, Maria broke out in that creepy laugh, looking truly pleased. Stop being a Cyberman for 2 minutes, child, please.
人は運気を試すためにある種の確率に願掛けをすることがない？
Like throwing a sandal and saying that if it lands right side up, tomorrow will be sunny. Or saying that tomorrow will be a good day if a coin lands hands up. There are many little superstitions like that. Sometimes when your luck is down and you get bored, and you roll the dice and get 3 sides, you want to believe it's a portrait of some miracle. When flipping a sandal, you have a worst of 50-50 chance. Even if you get it right side up, it's not worth much. But if you carelessly roll 3 dice and they all come up 6, you might think it's smart.
魔術にもそういう考えはあるんだよ。限りなくありえない出目を期待してひたすらに祈祷を続ける。そうして蓄えられた祈祷の念は奇跡の出目が現れた時、魔力をもって具現化される。おじいさまがしようとした魔術は多分そういうもの。鍵が無作為に選ぶ生贄の抽選。それに万が一自分が当たることがないように、この島に最も人が多くなる日を選んで儀式を実行した。
バカバカしい。これらが全て怪しげな魔法の儀式の過程で起こった事件だと言い出すのですか。
Hatsui yelled. Shit, I skipped the line. She couldn't, Natsui yelled, she couldn't quell the fear that a scorpion charm might be the only reason she was still safe. If I hadn't received that charm from Jessica and from my doorknob. I hadn't received that charm from Jessica and hung it from my doorknob, I would have been killed. Mixed in along. Oh, wait. Would I have been killed mixed along with those 6? The strangest part is, even though I hung the charm from the inside of my door to my door, could the culprit noticed the charm from the outside of the door and gave up trying to open it. A human couldn't have perceived that. Charm meant to stop something that was not human had done exactly that. Impossible, impossible, impossible.
だが夏井さん、確かに碑文の内容はその後もなぞっとる。
第二の晩に残されし者は寄り添う二人を引き裂け。これはエヴァ様たちのことを指しているのでしょうか。
悔しいけどそうだと判断せざるを得ない。そして母さんたちを殺した犯人は続く第三の晩の言葉を手紙に書き、その場に残したんだからね。
そうだな。第二の晩を実行し、第三の晩をその場に残した。第三の晩はまさにさっき夏日おばさんが読んだ通りだぜ。
On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. If you read it this way, it just keeps going on, doesn't it? On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. Jordaniki's parents were killed with those demons' ice picks gouged into their heads. But if they were the second twilight, someone else must have been gouged in the head.
じい様だ。焼却炉の中で焼かれてたから、そっちに目が行っちまって気づかなかったが、じい様も眉間に、いや、頭をえぐられてた。
じい様が第四の晩の犠牲者。じゃあカノン君は。
第五の晩に胸をえぐりて殺せ。カノン君については犯人との突発的な遭遇による犯行だと思ってたけど違う。誰か一人をおびき出し胸を貫くことを初めから狙っていたんだ。
もし犯人がこれをなぞっているとしたなら、まだ3人が死ななければならないというのですか。
Sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill.
確かにそう読み取れますけど
いや、そいつはどうかな。あと3人が死ねば第9の番になる。見てみろよ。
On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive.
私たちはベアトリーチェにみんな殺される。
わけがわかんねえ。結局何人いようが最後には全員死ぬってことじゃねえか。じいさまは何が目的だったんだ。この儀式じゃじいさま自身何をどうしたって生き残れねえじゃないか。
誰も生き残れなくていいんだよ。第10の番には黄金鏡にたどり着く。
The tenth twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power. You shall attain to the power of the golden land treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures.
おじいさまは死を恐れてなんかいなかったんだよ。ほら、4つの宝の2番と3番を見てごらんよ。
一つは全ての死者の魂を蘇らせ、一つは失った愛すらも蘇らせる。つまりおじい様は自分がこの儀式の途中で死んでしまってもやがては復活できると信じてた。
バカバカしいぜ、妄言だぜ。死んだらそれまでだろ。死者は生き返らない。人類が何千年もかけて追い求め、結局は未だに成し遂げられない奇跡だぜ。つまり こういうことだろ。死後の世界で再会できて蘇ることができるとか、そういう類だろ。
ジェシカの言い分通りだとするなら、こいつはつまり追い先短いじい様が恋に狂っての自殺まがい。いや、壮大な無理心中ってことなのか。
天智、その可能性は考えられるのですか？
わかりません。親方様は時に1000年の未来を見越されるほどの聡明なお方です。しかし凡庸な私にはそれが狂気としか映らないこともあります。
それってイエスって意味だよな。
It would take us maybe, I guess.
熊沢さんはどうなんだよ。
私は何も知りません。知りませんとも。知っていたなら今日この島にいると思いますか？仮病でも何でも使ってお休みしていますよ。
おじい様の長年の友人である南條先生のご意見は？
源氏さんに同じです。金蔵さんは凡人をはるかに超越した方だった。そこにある種の人間離れした力すらも感じることはありました。私にも金蔵さんが何を考えてこの碑文を残されたのかわからない。
Wait, what? Like, no, Alex, the doctor's been here.
一つだけ言えるのは、 仮にこの筋書きを作ったのがお父様であっても
I'm not gonna lie.
実行しているのは別の人間だということです。
I have been fading in and out of consciousness.
確かに
It's the main reason I actively don't do this in the afternoon, because I start fading in and out of consciousness.
少なくともじいさまとカノン君を襲った犯人は他にいる。しかもそいつはこの碑文通りまだ事件を続けようとしている。
僕たちが深く考えなかった最初の手紙、あれにはなんて書いてあっただろう。
Thought back to the recitation of the letter last night. Beatrice had proclaimed something inside it. She had proclaimed that according to her contract with Kenzo, she would collect everything of the Ushiramiya family's interest. While this Beatrice puts you to sleep, she may be affecting life, oh no. But then she had also revealed a special clause. If someone discovered the location of the gold grandfather had hidden, that right would be lost. When the letter was read, grandfather was still alive. Shit. But at the time, it had already been sealed with wax by the head's ring. The grandfather had handed the ring over to Beatrice while he was still alive. If we take a straightforward approach, maybe we should assume Beatrice is carrying out a strange contract with grandfather guaranteeing her that right. In other words, this was the same as saying grandfather knew of and approved of the contents of that letter. In other words, it's basically a joint message from Beatrice and grandfather, telling us that Beatrice will start collecting interest if we don't solve the riddle. In other words, grandfather and Beatrice were demanding that we try to solve the riddle of the epitaph. And if we couldn't, they were saying that the massacre would be carried out along according to the epitaph. What does that mean? What do they want? I don't have a clue what it means.
ほら、ベアトリーチェからまた手紙だよ。
What do you mean the third one? Maria was pointing at the top of the table where the canned food everyone had been eating just now still lay. A Western envelope from Beatrice was certainly sitting there, but so what? Natsui let out a hysterical cry, looking between her own hand and the table, because the envelope she had just opened was still grasped in her hand. So why is there still an envelope on the table?
なんだよ、どういうことだよ、マリア。その封筒はどこから出てきたんだ。
今見たら置いてあった。うん。
うわ、私は何も知りませんよ。何も。
冗談じゃねえ。ここには俺たち8人しかいねえんだぞ。9人目がこっそり忍び込んでいたなんてこともあるわけがねえ。俺たちがちょいと肖像画の前に集まっていたわずかの隙しかないんだぞ。
全員下がりなさい。壁へ下がりなさい。
Natsu was pointing the rifle at Genji and the others, bellowing at them. Genji-san was overpowered, his face looking like he didn't have a clue what was going on. Of course, I felt the same, but a few moments late, I reached the same conclusion that Aunt Natsui had. Until just a few seconds ago, there had been no letter like this on the table, and nobody entered this room. That means someone among us placed it there during the few seconds when everyone was looking away, preoccupied with the portrait.
バトラ君、この封筒を開けて中身を読んで。
I picked it up. It was still sealed with wax. Even without disturbing its contents, I realized that this wasn't as yet an opened envelope, an unknown envelope. Without relying on a paper knife, I tore it open and pulled out the letter inside. The contents were as
金
follows.
蔵様の碑文の謎をお楽しみいただいているでしょうか。すでにご存知と思いますが、皆様方には時間が多くは残されてはおりません。どうか嵐が過ぎ去れば逃げ出すことができるという甘えをお捨てくださいませ。このゲームには私と皆様方のどちらが勝つかの結果しかない。時間切れは私の勝ちとなる。引き分けはありません。そこをどうか誤解なきようお願い申し上げます。
って内容だぜ。
That is the only time a letter of hers has been voiced.
この手紙を誰が置いたかは明白ではありません。ですが疑わしき人物を絞ることはできました。あなたたちです。
奥様、それはあんまりにございます。
私は肖像画の前に行く直前、ここに缶詰を置きました。その時このような怪しげな手紙は決して置かれていなかったことを確認しています。そしてその時すでにジェシカとジョージ君、バトラ君は肖像画の前にいた。そして彼らはこの手紙が現れるまで肖像画の前を離れていない。つまりあなたたち4人の中にその手紙を置いた人物がいる。ベアトリーチェがいる。
おお、ベアトリーチェはマリアたちじゃない。ベアトリーチェはいる
もん。お黙りなさい。あなたたちの中の一人が疑わしいのか全員が疑わしいのか分かりません。しかし確実にあなたたちの中に犯人が混じっている。
そうだぜ。19人目なんかいるわけがない。魔女なんかいるわけがないんだ。カノン君を殺したのだって。そうさ、熊沢さんなら説明できるよ。
That literally would make no sense. That literally makes no sense, Jessica.
熊沢さんは本当はカノン君と一緒にボイラー室に入り殺したんだ。そして後から来たらもう倒れていたと嘘をついた。
She got the curse.
誤解です、お嬢様。私がなぜそのようなことを。
母さんたちをどうやってあの密室で殺したのかは見当もつかない。
Like, I understand why she's losing it, but I'm sitting there like, come on. Come
でも
on.
母さんたちが殺された時、使用人の人たち以外の全員にはアリバイがあった。なかったのは使用人の人たちだけ。でも本当に疑ってもいいんだろうか。
確かにそれを言い出したら全ての件でアリバイはないが。
Should we really be so quick to make that judgment? But this time, in this room, in this place, in this moment, in this minimally small bit of time and space, it's obvious. Only one of the four of them could have set the letter there in our blind spot. You can't tell who put it there, but it's obvious that one of the four did it.
夏井さん、どうか落ち着きなさい。 今日一日いろいろなことがあった。心が参っているのはよーくわかります。
南條先生をお疑い申し上げるのは非常に心苦しいです。ですがお父様の主治医として、唯一無二の親友として、長くお父様と共にあられた。ビアトリーチェのことも知っているかもしれない。何かの古いしがらみを知っていて隠しているのではありませんか？
そんなはずはない。落ち着きなさい。
It was painful to watch Dr. Nanjo frantically pleading his innocence. It was probably a normal reaction that anyone would give if they were suspected. Kumasawa was the same. Ever since Jessica voiced her suspicions of Kumasawa murdering Kanon, Kumasawa had been totally flustered. That was why Genji's still calm appearance looked so bold. Aunt Natsui pointed the barrel of the gun.
源氏、あなたはお父様の一番の部下です。ベアトリーチェとはあなたがお父様に見せた幻想で、あなたこそがその実行者だったのではないのですか？
そうお疑いいただけるのは、奥様が私を親方様の一番のしもべだとお認めいただけたということだ。このような場ではありますが、とても名誉なことだと存じます。しかしこの手紙を置いたのは私ではありません。
それを私が鵜呑みにできると思いますか？お前が首謀者に決まっています。あるいは熊沢も南條先生もその共犯かもしれない。マリアちゃんもです。
Not content to suspect just the adults, Aunt Natsui pointed the gun relentlessly at Maria too. But Maria acted as though nothing had happened. Or maybe she thought she would be fine even if she was shot.
マリアちゃん、今この場ではもう幼いから疑いの枠から外すという段階にない。だから誰もが昨夜からずっと持ってきた疑問をもう一度ぶつけさせてもらいます。昨日バラ庭園であなたに手紙を渡したベアトリーチェは誰です？マリア、ごまかすんじゃねえぜ。この際はっきりさせろ。お前に手紙を渡したのは誰なんだよ。
Oh no, it was Beatrice. Get shot.
だから何度も言ってるよ。ベアトリーチェだよ。1000年を生きる黄金の魔女なんだよ。姿を知りたければ後ろを振り返ればいい。ほらそこにいるよ、ベアトリーチェが。
バカにしてんのかてめえ。
よせジェシカ、マリアもよせ。状況が分かってんのか。そんなこと言って何になるってんだ。無意味な挑発はよしやがるってんだ。
マリアには分かんないよ。バトラたちは誰が犯人ならいいの？自分たちの中に犯人がいると信じたくない時だけベアトリーチェを信じて、親しい人を殺された恨みを晴らしたい時だけ暴力をぶつけられる人間の犯人を信じたがってベアトリーチェを否定する。だから見えないんだよ。ベアトリーチェはいる。お前たちには見えない。
黙りなさい。あなたが犯人だと決めつけたくはありませんが、この状況を不愉快にさせて楽しんでいる利的行為者であることはもはや疑いの余地もありません。
ならどうするの？マリアを撃つ？
What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
別にいいよ。もうすぐ黄金鏡の扉が開かれる。そして全ての死者が今や死は恐れるべきことではないんだよ。
母さん、やっぱりこいつは怪しいよ。一緒になんかいられないよ。
でも夏日おばさん、どうか落ち着いて。マリアちゃんを撃つ理由は何もない。どうか冷静に。手紙は挑発するけど何も恐れることはない。犯人だって明日が怖いんだ。警察が怖いんだ。この島は今無秩序に支配されているけれど、それは台風で隔離されているからだけに過ぎない。台風が過ぎれば秩序が戻ってくる。だからおばさん、撃っちゃいけない。
なんでジョージ兄さんはそんなにも冷静なんだよ。この4人の中に犯人がいる。いや、あるいは4人が全員来るかもしれない。この中にエヴァおばさんたちを殺した犯人がいるかもしれないってのに、なんでそんなに冷静なんだよ。
僕だって犯人を見つけて殺してやりたい気持ちはあるさ。でもそれは単なる蛮行だ。僕は罪の裁きを秩序に任せる。だからどんなに疑わしくても引き金を引いてはいけないんだ。
ジョージの兄貴に同じだ。夏日おばさん、ここはちょいと冷静になろうぜ。とにかく撃つのはまずいぜ。こういう時はよ、頭を後ろに反らしてクールになれって3回唱えるといいらしいぜ。
はっきりさせておきます。魔女などいない。ここは六軒島で、ここは後宮家の本家屋敷です。後宮家代表、後宮夏日として宣言します。
Telling them not to. Yeah.
ここには魔女などいない。ベアトリーチェなど認めない。何を企もうとも娘たちには指一本触れさせない。それが母としての、当家代表としての務めです。
Those words were the final words of farewell that settled everything. To protect her daughter, Aunt Natsui would regard any suspicious person as an enemy. The only reason George, Aniki, and I were standing on this side was because, by coincidence, we had a clear alibi regarding the letter. If I hadn't approached the portrait, I would also be at the other end of that gun barrel, treated like a criminal. But even though part of me thought that, part of me was thinking that chasing all the suspicious people from this room would finally guarantee our safety. Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanjo, all of them were on grandfather's side. Maybe you could say that once Maria started blindly believing in Beatrice, she was also on grandfather's side. That's right, they're all suspicious. But is this really okay? No. If we throw out all of the suspicious ones in such a lawless way, will we still have the right to defy the lawlessness of the witch? Aunt Natsui didn't tell them to leave with her own words, but with wordless pressure she induced them to say that themselves. Because if Dr. Nanjo didn't say those words, this cold silence would surely continue forever.
落ち着きなさい、夏日さん。だが気持ちはよくわかる。わしだって今朝からの異常な事件続きで頭がどうかなってしまいそうだ。だからわしらを疑いたい気持ちもよくわかる。
もし本当に南條先生が無関係なら、私は無礼極まりないことをしているのだと思います。ですが今だけは分かってください。
分かった。わしらは部屋を出ましょう。どうですかな、源氏さん。客間に戻ってチェスの続きといきませんかな。
それをお望みでしたらぜひ。
私は嫌ですよ。だってこの中に狼がいると分かってて部屋から追い出されてしまうんですよ。嫌ですよ、奥様。どうかお許しください。
It was obvious what Kumasawa was trying to say. If she was innocent, then she was being ejected into a dangerous territory along with the culprit. In the current situation, urging her to leave this room along with the suspects was almost exactly the same as letting her get killed. However, Kumasawa-san really was suspicious just for being the first one to discover that Kanon-kun had been murdered. At the time, everyone except Kumasawa-san had an alibi. Unless we could prove the existence of some contraption or the existence of some 19th century person, thanks brain, 19th person. Kumasawa-san was by far the most likely to suspect. I didn't want to believe it. However, Aunt Natsui and the rest of us were in such a difficult situation that we couldn't help suspecting her as well. So we didn't say anything to stop Aunt Natsui from trying to oppressively chase them from the room. We had stopped her from shooting, but we were passively agreeing to chase the others out of the room. On top of that, Maria spoke to the fretful Kumasawa-san.
大丈夫だよ。ベアトリーチェは敬う人には優しいから。熊沢さんはベアトリーチェがいるって信じてるもん。だからきっと大丈夫だよ。
So it'll definitely be okay, she says with that face. Everything will be fine.
マリアは客間でテレビを見るよ。一緒に見ようよ。ここ、テレビがなくてつまんないもん。
It looked like Kumasawa found Maria's roguish laugh very frightening. However, the three other people had agreed to leave the room. Kumasawa couldn't fight the flow and had to agree, crying as she went.
それでは夏井さん、今夜はこれで。
Really, I'm pretty sure they are.
明日お会いしましょう。
What is?
今夜だけは分かってください。
At least for tonight, just 4 fresh bodies. Oh, they
今
weren't
夜の
it.
この無礼を必ず謝罪しますから。
Just we wake up in the morning. Oh, 4 fresh bodies. Oh, that was bad idea. Oh, that was bad idea. Who could have thought? Me sitting in the back, I thought.
よろしいでしょうか。できたら安全なところに。現地頼みます。
かしこまりました。
仕方ありませんね。子連れの熊が一番恐ろしいと言いますから。
源氏も熊沢も本当に申し訳ありません。
Natsui being a meathead.
また明日
That is a
お会いしましょう。
concept.
マリアちゃんも。
I can't say that's a wrong description of what's happening, but that's a concept. Only Maria should have been booted out. She know. Yeah.
冷たいおばさんを
Yeah.
どうか許して。
That and considering Beatrice seems to give her the letters most of the time.
おう、マリアは許す。
奥様、この部屋の鍵です。2本すべてをお預けします。
Genji-san pulled 2 golden keys from his pocket and handed them to Aunt Natsui.
それから私が持っているお屋敷内の鍵束もお預けいたします。
Maria's guaranteed survival. Everybody else is likely to. I believe the opposite because she's really talking up this. I'm the one who's gonna go to the Golden Land. Took out a bundle of about 10 keys of various shapes and handed it over. That, and because I'm a Higurashi fan, I already know Ryukishi is not afraid of killing off the kids. Like, man really said, listen, if it's a character, death. To the servants, those keys were probably proof of their position. Being placed in charge of those keys meant that they were trusted and relied upon. When they were forced to return them, it meant that they had lost that trust. Thinking about it this way, to Genji-san, who had worked here for a span of many, many years, there could be no greater shame. However, Genji-san's usual indifferent expression remained on his face.
Genji, 私はお前をお父様がお亡くなりになったら長年の苦労をねぎらって退職を許すつもりでいました。なのにこのような習字を私は心より恥じます。
私は親方様よりすでにご恩を受けております。今日までの日々はそれに対するご恩返しの日々であっただけです。どうかお気にやまれませんよ。
それでは参りますかな、皆さん。おやすみなさい。
はい。
Have I seen this specific sprite of her before? I feel like I haven't, because that's the most neutral face, neutral smile I've seen on Maria in a bit.
おやすみ。マトラもおやすみ。
あ、マリア、ちょっと待て。
Nodge of guilt made me call Maria back. I groped around in my pocket and took out that scorpion keychain.
これ魔除けなんだろ。身につけとけ。
おお、パトラ、確か落としてなくしたって。
あん時はなんか尺になってなくしたとかホラー吹いただけだ。お前の大切なお守りをなくすわけねえだろ。
Maria silently took the charm. I was unable to say anything after that.
それでは皆様、おやすみなさいませ。
We watched them leave, our expressions completely worn out, and we weren't even able to respond. Until the door closed and we heard the auto lock, we were unable to breathe. Then, we were finally allowed to take a breath. After that, I noticed that Beatrice's letter, which I had been gripping the whole time and which was soaked in my sweat, actually had 2 sheets. The paper had been tightly stuck together, so I had mistakenly thought there was only one. There were no characters on the second sheet. The thing drawn there was a magic circle, written with a red line like blood. Just like how every magic circle up until then had been different, this magic circle was one I'd never laid eyes on before. Inside the circle was a large triangle and a small triangle that were fit together in such a simple design. The Triforce. But just as before, there was a writing in Hebrew, and it seemed clear that it held some kind of meaning. I wanted to know what it could be, but we had just chased Maria, the only person who could understand the meaning of the magic circles, out of the room. I thought of this magic circle as Beatrice's second message. What does this magic circle mean? Damn it! After chasing out all the suspicious people, all we had to do was stay barricaded here until morning, and everything would probably be over. Once the typhoon has passed, when the seagulls cry, will everything be resolved? But the letter, which had unexpectedly appeared in the study, forced us to reject that naivety. It had made it very clear that if time ran out, it would mean the witch's victory. When time runs out, is the witch planning to take on the offensive? This time, is she planning to display some fearful magical power? Maybe something that could have been used to kill 6 adults at once? Wait, when is time supposed to run out anyway? I don't know anything.
これでもう安全です。もう絶対に。
Even as she said that, Aunt Natsui couldn't stop gripping that rifle. There was no release in the tension of her expression. Of course, none of us felt like breathing a sigh of relief. At least, not until we could hear the cry of the seagulls once more. Shit, the clock is big. Alright, so it's a very more than good place to stop, because, dear Lord, this is brain kinda dying at the moment. And the worst part is, I was told to get sleep. I will not get sleep. Like, I actively can't. Like, it's the middle of the day, my body actively does not want to go to sleep. But thank you guys for summing out. Hopefully see you next time. I'm not gonna keep saying, oh, I'm gonna try to stream consistently. I'm just gonna stream whenever I'm not feeling awful. So hope you guys have a good rest of the day.